I'm Australian, and I've been dating my American girlfriend Sarah for 2 years. Every Sunday without fail, her phone rings with what sounds like a family emergency. Her mom is crying, her dad sounds panicked, her brother is having a crisis. The first few times, I drove Sarah across town in a panic, worried someone was dying. But when we arrived, the entire family was sitting around the dining table eating brunch, laughing and talking like nothing was wrong. I was confused. Sarah acted like this was completely normal. It took me 6 months to realize the truth. There was never an emergency. The fake crisis phone calls were how Sarah's family guilt-tripped her into attending mandatory Sunday family dinners. If she didn't show up, they'd escalate the fake emergencies until she felt obligated to come. When I finally called them out on this manipulative behavior, they said I was disrespecting American family values and didn't understand that family comes first. I said family doesn't come first when you have to lie and manipulate to get people there. This is the story of how I exposed my girlfriend's family's toxic Sunday tradition and became the villain for refusing to play along. My name is Jack, and I moved from Sydney to Los Angeles 3 years ago for work. I met Sarah at a friend's party. She was funny, smart, and independent. We hit it off immediately. The only warning sign I missed was how she always seemed stressed on Sunday mornings. She'd check her phone constantly, looking anxious and guilty. I thought she just had work stress. I had no idea what was really happening. The first fake emergency happened about a month into our relationship. We were having a lazy Sunday morning when Sarah's phone rang. Her mom was on the line, voice trembling, saying something about her dad having chest pains and needing to go to the hospital. Sarah's face went pale. She started crying and said we needed to go immediately. I grabbed my keys and drove us there as fast as possible, genuinely worried her father was having a heart attack. When we arrived, I was prepared to drive everyone to the emergency room. Instead, the entire family was sitting around the dining table. Her dad was fine, eating pancakes and reading the newspaper. Her mom was pouring coffee. Nobody looked remotely concerned. I stood there confused, waiting for someone to explain. Sarah hugged everyone and sat down like this was completely normal. I pulled Sarah aside and asked what was happening. Wasn't her dad having chest pains? Wasn't this an emergency? She looked embarrassed and said, "Oh, Mom exaggerates sometimes. Everything's fine." I said that wasn't exaggeration, that was lying. She got defensive and said her family just really valued Sunday dinners together, and sometimes they worried when she didn't confirm she was coming. I let it go because I didn't want to cause problems early in our relationship, but I was deeply uncomfortable with what just happened. The second fake emergency happened 3 weeks later. This time it was Sarah's brother calling, voice shaking, saying their mom had fallen down the stairs and hit her head. Sarah panicked again. We rushed over, and again, everyone was fine. Her mom was perfectly healthy, sitting at the table, not a scratch on her. I asked Sarah's brother directly, "You said your mom fell down the stairs?" He shrugged and said, "I said she might have fallen. I was worried because she didn't answer her phone earlier." That was a complete lie. I'd heard the phone call. He'd said she fell and hit her head, present tense, definitive. This pattern continued every few Sundays. If Sarah didn't confirm she was coming to family dinner, someone would call with a crisis. Her dad's chest pains, her mom's falls, her brother's car accidents. Every single time we'd rush over in panic, and every time everyone was completely fine and sitting around eating. Nobody ever acknowledged the fake emergency. I started noticing Sarah's stress pattern. Every Saturday night, she'd get anxious about Sunday. If she texted early confirming she'd attend, no emergency calls came. If she didn't text or said she couldn't make it, the emergency calls started around 11 in the morning. It was completely predictable. Her family was using fake emergencies as manipulation to ensure her attendance. After the fifth fake emergency in 3 months, I told Sarah this wasn't normal or acceptable. Her family was manipulating her with fear and guilt. She defended them, saying they just really valued family time. I said worrying about someone doesn't justify lying about medical emergencies. She said I didn't understand American family culture. I said lying about heart attacks wasn't culture. It was emotional manipulation. Sarah admitted the fake emergencies made her uncomfortable, but she didn't know how to address it without causing drama. She said if she confronted them, they'd accuse her of not caring about family. She felt trapped between her family's expectations and her own boundaries. The breaking point came when Sarah and I planned a weekend trip to San Diego. We'd booked a hotel, planned activities, and were both excited for a break. Saturday morning, Sarah's mom called and asked if we were coming to Sunday dinner. Sarah explained we'd be out of town. Her mom got quiet and said, "Well, I hope you can still come. It might be Dad's last Sunday dinner." Sarah asked what that meant. Her mom said, "The doctor found something concerning. We'll know more Monday, but he wanted family around just in case." Sarah completely spiraled. She was convinced her dad was dying, and we needed to cancel the trip. I asked her directly, had her mom said what the doctor found? No. Had her mom said what kind of concerning thing? No. Had her mom mentioned any specific symptoms or test results? No. It was deliberately vague and terrifying, designed to make Sarah panic and cancel her plans. I said this was the same manipulation as every other fake emergency, just more elaborate. Sarah called her mom back and asked specific questions. What did the doctor find? What tests were done? What symptoms was her dad experiencing? Her mom got defensive and said Sarah was being cold and analytical when she should just come home and support her father. Sarah pushed harder. Her mom finally admitted the doctor had mentioned her dad's cholesterol was slightly elevated and suggested dietary changes. That was it. No terminal diagnosis, no life-threatening condition, just high cholesterol that millions of people manage daily. I was furious. Her mom had deliberately implied her dad was dying to manipulate Sarah into canceling our trip. That crossed a line from annoying manipulation into cruel emotional abuse. I told Sarah we needed to confront this behavior directly, or it would never stop. She was scared, but agreed. We went to Sunday dinner that week specifically to address the fake emergency pattern. At dinner, I asked Sarah's dad how he was feeling after the concerning doctor's appointment. He looked confused and said he was fine, just needed to watch his cholesterol. I said that's not what Sarah's mom had implied. I repeated exactly what her mom had said. Her dad looked shocked. He had no idea his wife had said that. Sarah's mom got defensive immediately. She said she'd been worried and maybe overreacted. I said this wasn't an overreaction, it was deliberate manipulation. I listed every fake emergency over the past few months. Every single one was designed to manipulate Sarah through fear and guilt. The table went silent. Sarah's dad looked genuinely upset. Her brother looked uncomfortable. Her mom's face turned red. She said, I had no right to criticize how their family operated. She said, in American families, family comes first, and if they needed to be creative to get their daughter to show up, that showed how much they cared. I said lying about medical emergencies wasn't caring, it was manipulation. Sarah found her voice and backed me up. She said the fake emergencies made her anxious every Sunday. She never knew if her family was actually in danger or just manipulating her. She wanted to spend time with them, but not under false pretenses and fear. She needed them to stop lying and just invite her normally. Her mom started crying, saying we were attacking her for caring about family. Her dad cut her off and said no, they needed to hear this. He said he'd noticed Sarah seemed stressed during Sunday dinners, but assumed it was work. He had no idea his wife was making fake emergency calls. He said that behavior needed to stop immediately. Her brother admitted he'd made some of the fake calls at their mom's request. He said he felt guilty about it, but didn't know how to refuse. Sarah's mom was cornered and defensive. She said she'd started the fake emergencies because Sarah kept missing Sunday dinners after she started dating me. She blamed me for taking her daughter away. She said Australian culture was ruining Sarah's American family values. I said no, I was teaching Sarah that healthy relationships don't require manipulation. I asked why Sunday dinners needed to be mandatory. Why couldn't they be voluntary gatherings that people attended because they wanted to? Sarah's mom said that wasn't how family worked. Family was an obligation, not an option. I said that philosophy created resentment, not connection. Sarah's dad surprised everyone by agreeing with me. He said he'd always felt Sunday dinners were more stressful than enjoyable. Everyone showed up out of obligation and guilt rather than genuine desire to be together. He suggested making Sunday dinners optional and seeing who showed up naturally. Sarah's mom was horrified. She said optional meant the family would fall apart. Nobody would come if they weren't required to come. That statement revealed everything. Sarah's mom knew that if Sunday dinners were optional, people might not attend. Instead of making dinners more appealing or enjoyable so people wanted to come, she chose manipulation and guilt to force attendance. She valued the appearance of family unity over actual family connection. She'd rather have resentful children showing up under false pretenses than risk them choosing not to come. Sarah set firm boundaries that day. She said she'd attend Sunday dinners when her schedule allowed and when she genuinely wanted to be there. No more fake emergency calls, no more guilt trips. If her family wanted to see her, they could extend genuine invitations and respect her response. Her mom cried and said Sarah was choosing her Australian boyfriend over her family. Sarah said no, she was choosing healthy boundaries. The following weeks were tense. Sarah's mom refused to speak to me and barely spoke to Sarah. Her dad and brother were supportive, but caught in the middle. Sarah didn't attend the next 3 Sunday dinners. No fake emergency calls came, which proved her mom could control herself when boundaries were enforced. Sarah struggled with guilt. American family culture had taught her that missing family dinners was a moral failure. I reminded her that healthy families don't require manipulation to stay connected. She was unlearning years of conditioning that family obligation trumped personal autonomy. The dynamic slowly shifted. Sarah's dad started inviting us to optional family activities, like movies or hiking. These invitations came without guilt or pressure. Those optional gatherings were actually enjoyable because everyone attending wanted to be there. Sarah's mom eventually apologized, sort of. She said she was sorry for the fake emergency calls and recognized they were manipulative. But she said she did it out of love and fear of losing her daughter. She said when Sarah started dating me, she felt her daughter slipping away and panicked. The fake emergencies were her desperate attempt to maintain connection. It wasn't a real apology because she still justified the behavior, but it was progress. I explained to her that people don't slip away when relationships are healthy. Sarah wasn't avoiding family because of me. She was avoiding the stress and manipulation of mandatory Sunday dinners. If family time had been enjoyable and optional, Sarah would have chosen to be there. The fake emergencies and guilt trips pushed her away instead of bringing her closer. Her mom's fear of losing Sarah had created the exact outcome she feared. We compromised on a new Sunday tradition. Sarah would attend family dinners twice a month, her choice which weeks. Other Sundays were open for her to make other plans. No guilt, no manipulation, no fake emergencies. If someone actually had a real emergency, they'd call and clearly state what happened with specific details. The compromise worked for about 6 months. Then Sarah's mom slipped back into old patterns. She called saying Sarah's grandmother was very sick and asking for her. We went over, and her grandmother was fine, just had a cold. I called it out immediately. Sarah had to reset boundaries again. She told her mom that any future fake or exaggerated emergencies would result in her not attending family events for a month. 2 years later, the dynamic is better, but still imperfect. Sarah's mom occasionally slips into guilt-tripping language, but catches herself. Sarah attends family dinners when she wants to and doesn't when she has other plans. Her family has learned to extend genuine invitations without manipulation. The relationship isn't perfect, but it's healthier than the toxic cycle of fake emergencies and forced obligation. I learned that American family culture, at least in some families, prioritizes obligation and appearance over genuine connection. The idea that family comes first means personal boundaries and autonomy come last. Saying no to family is seen as selfish and wrong, even when saying yes means sacrificing your own well-being. That cultural value creates perfect conditions for manipulation and guilt to flourish. I also learned that challenging family dysfunction makes you the villain, especially as an outsider. Sarah's extended family still sees me as the Australian boyfriend who ruined their family traditions. They don't see that their traditions were toxic and unsustainable. They see someone from outside their culture refusing to respect their values. In their narrative, I'm the problem, not the fake emergencies and manipulation I exposed. Sarah's perspective shifted dramatically through this process. She initially defended her family's behavior as normal American family dynamics. Now, she recognizes it as manipulation and emotional abuse disguised as caring. She's had to unlearn the belief that good daughters sacrifice their boundaries for family harmony. She's learned that healthy relationships, including family relationships, require mutual respect and genuine choice. The hardest part for Sarah was accepting that her family's love came with conditions. They loved her when she complied with their expectations and attended mandatory Sunday dinners. But when she set boundaries and prioritized her own needs, their love turned conditional and punitive. That realization was painful but necessary. She deserved family who loved her unconditionally, not just when she followed their script. Looking back, I don't regret exposing the fake emergency manipulation. It needed to be named and stopped. But I understand why Sarah's family sees me as a villain. I disrupted their system, challenged their values, and refused to play along with dysfunction they'd normalized. From their perspective, I'm an outsider who doesn't understand or respect American family culture. From my perspective, I helped my girlfriend escape a toxic pattern of manipulation. The lesson I learned is that cultural differences aren't always benign. Some cultural values, like mandatory family obligation enforced through guilt and manipulation, are harmful regardless of cultural context. Just because something is normal in a culture doesn't make it healthy. Sarah's family's fake emergency tradition was normal for them, but deeply dysfunctional. Exposing that dysfunction was necessary, even though it made me the bad guy. Sarah and I are still together and stronger than before. She's grateful I helped her see the manipulation clearly and supported her in setting boundaries. Her relationship with her family is more distant, but more honest. They see each other less frequently, but with less resentment and stress. Sarah no longer dreads Sundays. She no longer checks her phone anxiously waiting for the next fake crisis. That freedom is worth the cost of being her family's villain.